All right, good morning. We do have new home sales at 11 this morning, and I think that's it. Half an hour into open, we'll have our news, but other than that, that's the only scheduled news that we're interested in. Looking at our larger time frames to start here, yesterday I think we closed as like a doji. Yeah, right at all-time high doji. I didn't really do much yesterday. I knew that the observed holidays were Monday, Tuesday, and Monday I watched, and I really didn't care for the price action. It was just like a constant grind up, but there was nothing really presenting for how I like to take entries and stuff, and it was really slow moving on really low volume, so it just had a lot of things that aren't normal. So I just kind of avoided the situation. And I kind of went into the same mindset yesterday. I will say I did watch the open, and I watched the first little bit. I did ended up taking one trade. I'll show you guys where I took it. Come on, chart. Right here. We had our nice uptrend that was working, and then trend reversed aggressively. We had 5 or 6 bear candles in a row, followed by like the break of the moving average. This was the first pullback after the trend reversal, which was like a spike in the opposite direction. So when there's a spike against trend like that, the first opportunity to get in with the new trend, I take the first candle to go, like in this case it'd be the first candle to make a new low, because I read it as there's a lot of trap traders. This is the first chance that people are starting to get back out or able to get out, and as soon as it starts to go in the other direction again, the panic sets back in, and anything that didn't get adjusted is now going to get adjusted. So we ran that down to extension right here and got out for almost 2 to 1. And then this started happening, and I just walked away. I wasn't really planning to take any trades, but that setup was just, it was beautiful, so I did take that one, but that was it. Now this morning, looking at our hourly chart, which we like to use for context, we do have what kind of looked like a little head and shoulders starting to develop. And the one thing that I'm going to say I require for it to be an actual head and shoulders for me is I need the neckline right here to be pierced before this other shoulder gets built. I feel like that's pretty important, and it did happen in this instance. Now it did pull back here, and we tried to go and failed. Tried one more time, gave a couple inside candles here at the high, and then a rejection candle, and now we're back down testing the low. Now we did test the liquidity underneath this swing point by just a smidgen, got bought up. We're starting to meet resistance at the moving average again. So if the open gives us, a nice bearish signal, this thing could play out, and we could have a head and shoulders top that may push down quite a bit lower. We did come back up through here very, very quickly. There's not really any swing points on the way on this time frame, so have to wait and see, but definitely is potential that it comes, works its way back down. For me to switch for more of like looking for longs, I think that's going to be pretty important for us to break back up above here, the potential right shoulder. If we do break back up above there, then be more looking for longs, but I'm gonna be looking for short opportunities this morning, especially if it starts to go in that direction, because we have good context for that type of trade. Now we also have a small spike happening here off of the perfect liquidity like we talked about on the hourly chart. The swing was right here, and it did give a nice push up. Now Not sure if that's going to be just, you know, quick retest, moving average before we fall, or if we actually are trying to regain it. But I'm still leaning short until this right shoulder, I think, is gone through. Good morning, man. At least that's what I'm thinking. This does look fairly bullish, I'm not gonna lie, but we'll wait and see what happens. We will wait and see what happens. And other than that, yeah, nothing new, nothing exciting. The last 2 days were really slow. One trade over the last 2 days, or 2 trades, I guess. I think Monday I took a break-even trade, and yesterday took that small win, and that was that. Hopefully volume today is back to normal. I have no idea what to really expect this week. It could definitely play out. I do very much like how it broke the swing before it tried to develop this right shoulder. It was trying a second time. We'll see. Underneath here though, it'd be an important level. I'm very interested to see if this is going to have any kind of continuation at the open, or if it was just a quick spike before another move. Market's going to open actually like exactly where it closed, no gap. Little wall there at 85. Just above the swing point. Looks like it's gonna get filled or tagged anyway. Usually does. So locally, our Valley held on the retest. We have the one-time push up, first pullback, after we're going against trend. First candle to make a high. Did find quite a bit of sellers up there the first time. We'll see if we can hold. If we can hold this moving average, stay above it, there's a good chance we'll take another swing at it. At least see if we can go back through. If we fail here, we're going to retest the low. And then ultimately at that point, the 5-minute candle will have checked all the way above this and then came all the way back down and looked real nasty. And then our short theory is still the dominant theory. For now. Retested the low, back up retesting the top wick now. So we got some consolidation there. It's going back and forth. One minute left in this 5-minute candle. Definitely doesn't look as bad as it did a minute ago. Looks quite good. It didn't make a low, so as scary as it looked, didn't play out. See if they actually breach a high here, or if we fail again and then coil some more. They're trying. 5-minute candle closing on its highs. There we go. We made another high. pulling back again. Just being patient for now. I'm not really interested quite yet in playing like a failed breakout or anything off this. Not interested in a mean reversion. There's no two-legged pullback. There's no one-timing event for me to trade. Basically all three of my strategies there's nothing to do with right now. So we're big chilling. Trying hard to hold the moving average again though. The head and shoulders theory on the hourly chart, it's like it's there, but the fact that it's already came all the way back up here again, especially after it tried twice instead of just, you know, rolling over, it already has one thing that makes me kind of question it. But now being all the way back up here definitely kind of makes me question it even more on the second factor. So interesting for sure. It's trying to void it pretty much already. Buyers, yeah, buyers are stronger. Above that swing point is pretty important, and then we get this one who's very important, but we just breached above the big one right there. So I'm actually going to remove that red line. I'm gonna put it down here and we're gonna mark it as yellow. So at least it gave us some more information. cheap entry off that rejection candle. Yeah, it's a great short. Should get your 2 points right there. Yep. We got the nice rejection candle right off of the major liquidity point. Shooting star. Had the pull up confirmation, rejected a second time. Great short. Hell yeah, nice way to start your morning. The approach to the moving average is scary. If I was a buyer, I don't know that I would have the confidence to try to be using that as support. Pretty nasty 5-minute candle close. It's teasing. It looks like it wants to try to make another leg down. There it comes. Back to the moving average now on the 5-minute chart. We're underneath this 1-minute level. May find some hesitation here and again. We definitely found buyers off the moving average there. Trying to retake that second leg down and potentially set up a reversal pattern. So it's tried to confirm or set up a reversal pattern now on the 1-minute. So from here, the next step is important for me because either we're going to hold and actually try to make another leg back up and it will confirm it is a potential reversal, or this is the perfect trap point and the market comes back down and keeps going lower. The trap would then fuel, you know, the move to the downside, but 5-minute chart is stair stepping up. We do have that low that never got broke. We had a scary approach on this pullback, but it wasn't a small pullback. It stayed high. I'm not really interested in playing it as a pullback because of that right there. This thing 1 times down, we'll know that this becomes a yellow line trap level and the market should then come down and ideally break this level. It actually has pulled back now below a candle, so if it can come up and go back above 87.50, then trap level theory is not happening, and we should see another move back up, retest the high. After that potential W though, the next step is like the storyteller for me on direction. So not looking at it as a trap then now. Potentially new low or another leg up. Looks good. So we're getting a retest here of this high point. Now in theory, the way that we've developed it should put us in a new high above, but there's always the possibility that find sellers again and we coil and not making highs or lows. But we did not make a new low. TA kind of worked out nicely here. I would expect a new high. At least I expect the new high before this low would be broken. Little pullback, retest the tops here. It stays above, it's, you know, more bullish. Still looking for that new high. If it doesn't though, and we start to pull all the way back down, then I'd say that we're kind of going into coiling. But still looks fine for now. So it didn't hold the very top. Now we're testing the moving average. Not as bullish looking, but still okay. Still nothing has changed. We may be more closer to coiling price action though than we thought. Draw the wedge lines in for now in case. Actually slightly below now. So definitely strong sellers up here for now. See if the 5-minute candle holds above our 84.75 level. We got 3 minutes till the news, which could be playing into this last little move here. price still coiling, I guess. See what happens after the 11 o'clock volatility here. I think it's home sales that come out, right? Yeah, pending home sales for November. Well, there wasn't a huge volatility spike as it touched 11, so we'll let it work itself out for a minute or two. See if it respects our price coil lines or if not. Still coiling. Not a huge reaction, really. Still relatively low volume, equal volume for the last two holiday days in our A period. 110,000 contracts. Could be a slow week. I wasn't sure. I knew the last 2 days were the observed holidays, so I mean the low volume made sense. It is Christmas holidays. Maybe the week stays the same. Today's technically not an observed holiday, I don't believe, so I was didn't know if our volume would get back to normal today or not, but so far, no. And I have no experience trading over these weeks or this week. It's the first year. Usually skip December. Yeah. She's a learning year. Yeah, you too, man. It's trying, it's like teasing our line here. Price still coiling. It is slightly respecting it, but this little price action through here, they are making lower highs, so it may dip. This pullback on the 5-minute chart, I mean, this level right here, we technically didn't achieve anything. We failed to make a high. So maybe we test a little lower than it now. Price still just coiling. Not really. It's interesting that the 11 o'clock volatility didn't bring in a larger move or a quicker move. Price coiled for quite a while yesterday's session too. That's kind of why I left. I didn't expect to trade it at all, but I got one trade out of it like within the first half an hour, and then it coiled for a little bit of time. Yeah, it was kind of nasty. And then we had a move down in the afternoon, and then it coiled again and ended up closing back up similar to where it kind of opened. Basically two big trading ranges, and it moved from one to the other. It's trying to hold on. Not really achieving to regain yet though. Never broke this local swing point yet either. Tight price action through here. A lot of overlapping candles. Get a little bit of volume increase on this big one here, which makes sense if it's a potential low. Crawling their way back up. It's a nice looking rejection candle, potentially respecting that high point there. As nice of a candle it is after a doji, I really don't want to take a position in the, we're kind of like in the dead middle of this bigger coil. My risk to reward is like 1-to-1 in kind of either direction. I don't really know. It does look nice for a short, but could play out a little bit. We did break below now. We broke out of our coiling. We'll leave the downtrend, the supply line. So that was a successful retest now. First pullback, failed to make a high. We came back. Not really interested at all in any kind of long situation from there again until we go lower, because I mean this one already tried and failed. So maybe we test a little bit lower, still remaining above here, so it could technically do a 2-leg and then a go, but visually it kind of looks pretty scuffed. May just go right below. Give us a new little low a day here maybe. There it is, new low a day. So the short did play out. Was good theory of what was happening and understanding, and it gave one quick good little presentation here, but it wasn't really a 2-legged pullback. It wasn't a one-time move that I could get involved in. It wasn't a mean reversion trade. Technically none of my 3 strategies happened there. We were just kind of like reading the price action as to what was happening, trying to hold the coil, failed to make a high, gave a nice short presentation. It kind of, there's a few things that all lined up nice, but it's not an actual trade setup for me. But at least what happened does like make sense. So we're still we're not confused or anything. We got an idea what's going on. Yeah, absolutely. You are correct. Sorry, I was actually, to be honest, I was alt tabbed and I was putting in a Bitcoin futures order because it did set up nicely in that market for me. 100%. That would have been an emotion in the past that I would have struggled with too, and which breaks my consistency. It goes hand in hand with what we talked about weeks ago, where I'd be like watching and I see a lot of things happen and I'm like, oh, I'm reading it correctly. I should have, you know, been in the trade, or I should have done this. And then the next time that I feel that, which would probably be like any time now, I'd get into a trade, and that trade also would not have matched any type of trade setup that I do, but it would match that should have feeling that just worked out nicely, and I would FOMO into that one and then lose. It's literally like this, a circle and a cycle of events that would happen over and over and over. So it's cool that you mentioned that. That is to be honest, that's like growing out of that cycle has only happened in the last like month, and it's getting a little bit better that I can just watch that stuff happen and be like, all right, well, it didn't match, you know, strategy A, B, or C, so there's just no trade. It's kind of that is what it is. So we wait. How did that actually develop on our hourly chart? Whoops. So we actually came back down and broke that yellow line, which is very interesting. So now I'm going to move it to this side because we have a trap of a trap, or that's what I call it anyway. And maybe it did actually come all the way down and test below the neckline wick as well, which is interesting. We did find buyers again. We're kind of, you know, struggling to keep going. There was no slide. It reacted from liquidity right away, which could tell us a different story altogether. And maybe instead of this being a big head and shoulders pattern, this is actually just a trading range. You know, head and shoulders pattern kind of has already taken, the shoulder has taken quite a bit of time. It's acting more like this is maybe just a trading range than anything else. Especially the way that it keeps reacting, whoops, from those liquidity points. Oh my Lanta. There we go. Quick little hiccup there. We got a one tick poke here. This is a beautiful location. We got a big strong one-time push. This little area of accumulation here never actually did a candle pullback anywhere. So it came back and tested above it. There'd be some little bit of liquidity there. We got one rejection candle, but no follow through. No signal bar. The location's good. It's the first pullback. It's not the greatest. Price action is not the greatest there for shorting. Looks like it's baiting. Done one pullback. If it could fail still and then go ultimately lower, then we could have a two-legged pullback, but it doesn't, it's not presenting like it wants to, not yet anyway. If it holds on much longer, it's going to have regained this moving average. And then it would have not, yeah, it didn't fail. The underside didn't fail right here, right where it should, like right above it. Bought up from liquidity perfectly, right back into the middle of this potential trading range. I'm not interested in this two-leg pullback. I'm just not. Technically now this is the second candle. This is the second entry short. But this reaction does not look bearish at all. This looks super bullish, and the fact that it has done what it's done here, I think that playing the failure of the two-legged pullback has higher odds. But technically this is setting up, and I could short this right now, but visually and presentation wise, it's not what it should look like. It does not look like a AAA version of the setup at all. So I'm prepared to let this disappear. If it does work out, then I'm okay with that. It's not a, you know, a crazy big or nice signal bar. The location kind of has thrown me off a little bit. The build up to it is trying to work. Has worked more than I expected already, so I could have been wrong, but I'm okay with letting it go. If it would have happened like down here, we would have been way more excited about it, but we'll see how it develops. It loses 75.50. We might see a retest, then continue. The retest would be what would allow me to remove some risk to the retest area. Trying to set up a small reversal pattern here though. No, it didn't close properly. So the full target for this trade, if it were to work, would be an actual new low. That would be the principle behind why taking it, and then ideally trailing the stops that happen along the way. So we've now broken above this or below the swing point, which was very important. Now the next test, ideally, would hold and we continue lower, but tested the perfect spot for liquidity. Not ideal. Could do a two-leg pullback on a 5-minute chart maybe. I don't know. It's build up here in the presentation. It's too bullish. It's not technically, yes, it is 2 legs, but I don't know. I'm still glad I'm not in the trade. Just not AAA. I keep saying it to myself over and over so I don't FOMO in a sell right here. It's giving a re-entry. I know I don't want the trade. I didn't want it the first time. I definitely don't want it on the retest. So as soon, if systematically, if I was in this trade, as soon as I can get a bearish candle to break a low of a previous candle, after it pulls back, then I can remove risk to that potential new swing point. That would be it. This candle's trying to do it. Hasn't yet, but it's technically still just an inside candle. There it goes. So now I could remove to this swing point plus 1 tick. So I'll be at 79.50 stop out. Entry would have been 78.50, so it would be 1 point of stop risk right now. "30 seconds on this 5-minute candle. Let's see. They squeeze it up. Yeah, there would have been the trailed stop. 1 point loss. Now, the potential 2-leg pullback on the 5-minute chart could be viable. We extend one more time and give a nice failed breakout sign. Could play that. But that would be the only situation. Still a little price coiling happening here. Just gonna be patient. The only, like I said, the only situation that I'm interested in really trading is if the 5-minute chart did a 2-leg pullback and failed off this moving average and we get a nice clean failure signal. But our trading range, more so than head and shoulders pattern, seems to be, price seems to be responding more towards the trading range rather than, you know, a downward move so far. So far. It seems like the perfect time to go to the washroom real quick before this happens. Dang, we're still coiling. I mean, that's not the worst sign for a potential failed breakout opportunity, which would line up nice. How's our volume? Well, our B period had equal. Makes sense though that there was lots of volume that stepped in because it was a quicker move. I'm gonna take a swing at the top here again. Okay, there it is. Let's see how price develops now. Rejected it quick, but kind of happened in a quick manner. Let's see if it retests and fails here or if it just fails. The candle, it's not really the greatest signal candle or anything for me to get involved in off yet. Comes the retest. We went higher. Original rejection didn't pan out. Or one tick higher. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna set up for that. I don't think it's gonna fail. Nope. Wonder if it'll respect our original downtrend line. We've kind of created a floor now here, which lines up with our moving average, so we could see support here now. That's why the rejection, if it was going to happen, needed to happen, on the attempt of the breakout. Trying. Get a little bit of double top happening here again, so another small range happening here. It is a double top with a 2-bar happening, but I kind of lost faith in the short, right, on the larger time frame. Price has a lot of potential floors now to get through. I feel like the path of least resistance now is to the upside. The market gave me a 2-leg pullback down here to the moving average and gave me a nice long signal. I'd be way more interested in taking that. We do have a spike and then an inside candle. So, like I said, ideally here, the market gives me a 2-leg pullback. Lines up with coming down here and testing some of these floors. I'd be totally on board for a long. The only other potential trade that I'd be interested in is if this didn't go below first and we actually go above this inside candle and then clearly reject, showing a reversal up here. Those are like kind of the two situations. Not really interested in playing the double top. Did manage to give the pullback to the moving average, which makes sense. But we're looking for the better opportunity here. This is first opportunity to get long. First candle it made a high. We're chilling, we're stalking, we're waiting. Maybe it's just gonna go off the first opportunity to get long. Kind of looks like it. Which it is what it is. If that's what happens, then that's what happens. I don't have the right criteria to take that trade, so that's okay. At least I didn't get mixed up in taking the short. Knew we wanted to get long. Still could give it to us. Potentially. It hasn't triple topped or anything. I doubt it's going to come back and give it to us though. I think it's just going to go off the first opportunity. Lined up with those moving averages nicely. Well, as I'm saying it, we'll see. And maybe it will come back and give it to us. Imagine? Oh, jeez. Trying to hold a higher low. Not what I want though. Higher low just gave its signal trigger right there. Try to be patient. I'm trying to be objective too, though, and not kind of force what I want on the market, because if I take out my thought of wanting this two-legged pullback, wanting it to form a two-legged pullback, what's actually happening right now? And we got a double top, we pulled back to the moving average, we failed to take it back. The 5-minute candle closed as a hanging man, but it happened after an inside candle. So I don't hate it. If it would have formed as a hanging man above that inside candle, I wouldn't be interested at all. Basically, for me to take this as a two-legged pullback, it can't go very far underneath here. Like 1-2 ticks, basically touch this line somewhere right here, no further, because we want to see it reject quickly. Otherwise, we're going to end up losing, kind of our floor here, and it's going to become a ceiling. So it needs to be, if it even happens, it needs to be more of like a liquidity check and then a rejection quickly than anything. Kind of looks like price is just coiling here, and it might just go off of the higher low setup. But I'm still sitting on my hands. I'm not disregarding it. The supply line's still kind of holding strong. Okay. Might give it to us. Like I said, it's got to be a liquidity check and nothing more. Even I would take it as an exact double bottom too if it presented right, but that'd be it. A 1-2 tick poke would be best. Any walls in the book? Not that I see. I don't know. Just trying to go off of another higher low. Looks like it might be trying to go here without us, which is okay. Never actually set up exactly like we wanted. Was really waiting out for the two-leg pullback. And I mean, I guess this was it, but it didn't give the exact double bottom, and it didn't give a poke through, so not really my trade setup. The longer it stays here, we're kind of still, it's turning into a trading range now. You know, even though the market hasn't set up really clean for how I would like to take trades, we have been reading it fairly well. We haven't FOMO'd into anything. We understood that there were some setups that tried to form, but they didn't form correctly and didn't look right. And the context of it's like build up on the higher time frame also just didn't look right at all. Prevented us from taking not AAA versions of the setups. We got a little bit of a triple top going on here. Another pullback. Trading range continues. It's very similar price action to yesterday. Got the big accumulation area, like, you know, price coiling, a move, rejection, price coiling, back up to the middle. Basically in a pretty even day. Basically right back where we opened. We're trading in a range there now. Not real huge conviction of direction either way. We look at this, you know, big area as trading range. So far, our morning session has checked above it, rejected, and checked below it, and rejected, and basically right back to the middle. Couldn't be any more of a trading range than that. And now we're in a small trading range in the dead middle of a larger trading range. Not the best. Not the best. Anyone's guess. Not really sure how to even think about it now at this point. We do have a triple top to the tick. We're finally coming down to where I wanted to buy originally. But one of the disqualifications of the two-leg pullback is like it can't have already on the first like true entry came back up and created a double top, because I mean, trade kind of already happened. It just didn't set up the way that I wanted to see it set up. So even if it does dip below and give a long signal, I can't really, I can't trade it. It's straight up a rule break for the entry. So I'm gonna get rid of this supply line. Today was definitely a good day to understand that it was a trading range and play the fades of the two extremes. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes and see if some different price action develops, but I really don't have any interest in trading this range. Not now that it's developed like this. Created this small trading range in the dead middle of a large trading range. So not interested in getting chopped up. Rather wait. Yeah, dead. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's our one tick poke below this trading range. Oh, we're coming out of it a little bit. We got multiple candles in a row, one timing off the triple top. So I mean, that's kind of what's happening right now. Kind of lost our demand line. We may get a low one opportunity. We're gonna reject this previous range and start to climb back up in. Trying to remember that we did test both sides. We did create a trap of a trap, but maybe that's completely irrelevant because it's just a trading range and I'm overthinking it. We've rejected both sides of the trading range. We're just back to the middle, you know, keep it simple. Hasn't been a low one opportunity yet. It is a potential. The one-time push out of here does show, you know, nice imbalance. We did create a ceiling. All the prerequisites are there. We're losing the demand line. We could get a ceiling touch and then another attempt down. We'll see how we develop here. And then I would look to take it for extension down into here somewhere. Needs to be the breakout trade, first candle to make a low. In case it tags and slides. See what happens. Nope. Just coming right back up into the range for now. That was the first one to actually make a low there, finally. This looks pretty good, to be honest. I can feel my urge telling me that I'm missing a trade setup because I was like stalking it through here, and then as it started to climb, I was like, I didn't keep the entry in for the first candle to make a low. It's giving me time to get back in now too. It's kind of a miss. I mean, it's not kind of, it is a miss. The amount of indecision made me sluggish. But it is working as intended now. That slide candle should have triggered the order in right there as the first candle to make a low. Looking for extension down here somewhere. It's kind of really the only true miss, only true setup that has happened. Trailed stop would be above that wick right there that attempted to go at 81.25. We do have a big 2-bar that just formed off a double bottom. No trigger off it yet though. Be moving the stop down to above this wick if we can get another candle that goes lower. Because you wouldn't want this to fire. Or then we have a 2-bar off a double bottom firing. Oh, there we go. Trail a stop. Only one tick lower so far though. And we got another one. Not as risky now. Might be able to actually let it go a little bit. So given our 2-to-1 now. Yeah. Nice. It's like I was willing to take the trade here. I had the trade in, but then as it climbed up another candle or two, I just kind of like that the day that's been happening, I guess I kind of lost faith a little bit. Full target would be below that wick. Check the liquidity down here. We're already up though. I have a trailed stop now at 2-to-1 so that it doesn't make me give back any more than that. The price action that's developing, we could see a follow through potentially. Is trying to take a stair step down. Maybe the trap of the trap will play out. Difficult for sure. Certainly looks like it wants to test that liquidity. My emotional capital at this point was just kind of tainted. Waited for so long. Seeing a lot of range trading that by the time that this one developed, I just kind of had, yeah, there's the liquidity test right there, right below the wick. And it only went by 1 tick, so this would be an immediate exit out of this trade. Trailed stop, never got tagged. One tick poke, exit triggered. We'd be out of this trade right here, somewhere around 75. It's like a 5-point trade, almost a 6-point trade. Off 2-point risk. Even if it slides though, I'd be completely out now. The one tick poke is an instant exit of my with trend trading. Now with that being said, now that we have kind of started to do this though, it allows me to now also look for a 2-leg pullback again. Not interested in on a low 1 opportunity. That's just the first time, but if it did a 2-leg pullback to the moving average, you could get with trend entry again potentially. Quick snapback. And that's why I exit off a 1-tick poke off liquidity anywhere that we're looking for the range to be the end of the trade. If we get that 1-tick poke past the swing point, kill it. Okay, there's low 1 opportunity. It did happen off the moving average. trying. No two-leg pullback opportunity. Reacted off the low one, off the moving average. $30 left on this 5-minute candle. We're gonna get our second leg. Certainly trying. Double top so far. Acceptable. The greatest signal bar though. 5 seconds left. So far, we're a tiny inside doji. What am I supposed to do with that? Gross. Price moved like 2 ticks. It's better. I have a demand line here. I wish that would have went 1 tick up or 2 ticks or something. Can't really do anything like this because my rules are it has to fill within 2 candles. Like even if I use this as my signal bar, right, getting short underneath it makes sense because that's the double top candle, but it didn't happen until the 3rd candle. So I can't get in here, even though I would love to just limit short right now. That is a rule break. Has to fill within 2 candles. I think I'm probably just gonna call it. It's almost 1 o'clock. You know, really there was not anything for me to do today as far as like proper trading and not breaking any rules or anything other than this one opportunity right here. We had that little uptrend happening. It rolled over. This was the first chance, right? We one-timed off of the very top of this local uptrend. First candle to make a low around the moving average. Everything did kind of work out nice. And I was stalking it. We talked about it as it was happening. I even had the order in resting right here at one point, but then I didn't trail it to the next candle because I was like, we're just recovering the moving average again. And at this point, my brain was kind of like exhausted from watching just the range trading, and I was kind of losing confidence on getting into any kind of like downward move. But all technicals were there and it did, you know, fire properly, and the trailed stop also worked nice, and we could have taken it all the way down and never got hit our trailed stop and would have exited it on the 1 tick poke that got bought up, so I would have got out somewhere right in there in the 75 76s. So other than that, though, there was nothing. We had price accumulation, quick move down, rejected, accumulation, came back up, more accumulation. Now we have a little bit of a move back down, and we're getting into more wedging right around the same zone that we were wedging in before. Yeah, no, I feel like it was a good trading day. You are absolutely correct. I did stick to my rules. I didn't FOMO into stuff that, you know, I was able to stay objective and like read the market moderately well. Yeah, no, it wasn't a bad day by any means, you know, and we kept our capital safe, so you know, didn't take anything that was wrong. So, you know, we'll be back at it again tomorrow with a fresh start. Maybe tomorrow we'll have a little bit more volume, maybe not, I don't know. I was kind of expecting today to maybe have a little bit more volume, but it really didn't. Pretty much the same as the last two holidays, so it could just be a slow week. You know, we could end up staying with relatively low volume, but we'll take it day by day and see. When's New Year's? New Year's is Saturday. So because New Year's is on Saturday, does that mean that the holiday, kind of like Christmas, does that mean the holiday is going to be observed on Monday, the 3rd? Do you know one time? Futures holidays. CME. Okay, so there's actually no observed holiday for the markets then on that, for that. Okay, perfect. Cool. Just gonna get through the holidays and be back to normal trading, hopefully. All right, well, have a good rest of your day, and see you back tomorrow morning.